half man, half woman.
It's Gary. I wanna hip you to the T. It's Gary, baby.
Gary has the tea and the color of the day. Gary, what up?
Good morning, Ricky. Good morning, America. Good morning to you. It's Wednesday, a beautiful, beautiful day in the neighborhood. And here's what's happening in celebrity news, y'all. Love Week, honey. Yeah, if you watch the Tamron Hall show, you all would know that it's Love Week this week on the Tamron Hall show. And who other than our very own Rickey Smiley was on Love Week, y'all. It was
what? I get to be on the tea.
Yeah, you got to. Now, you know what? When you made the tea, that means you have arrived. So you have arrived, Ricky. Yes, baby, you done arrived, honey. Now, yes, now the show is a no ordinary love story. And, you know, we got it as award-winning comedian, actor, author, and radio host Rickey Smiley sat down, y'all, for a daytime exclusive, honey. And here's what he talked about on the Tamron Hall show.
Did you ever look like, timing-wise, I remember that time.
Yeah.
And they are awfully cute. Did you ever go to her before and say, do you think?
Nah, I didn't.
Never.
Because they have these like light brown eyes. Yeah. I only had two boys. My youngest son is 23 years old.
Yeah. So you thought, no way.
Yeah.
Never crossed your mind.
Never crossed my mind.
That is.
I was just being a nice guy, being in.
Yes. So now, Ricky, so what was your no ordinary love? Because they were talking about you and I guess your beautiful daughters, honey, Alyssa and Alisa. Is it Alisa? Allison and
man.
Alyssa. Yeah.
Damn,
those
you know
names
them.
right. Yes, and it was very interesting though because it was funny because when you said that you was being just being a nice guy, honey, the audience just were like a nice guy. Yeah. So how was it?
Being on her Tamron show, being on that show was a lot of fun. I wish I could have something like that. That what Tamron Hall does and how classy her show is. It's just a blessing to be invited on something. And that's my second time on her show. I just enjoy doing shows and doing interviews. I enjoyed the times that I went on Wendy Williams and The Real and The Talk. I love doing the talk show circuit, so it's a lot of fun.
Well,
but
people were
Tamron
wondering.
is classy. She is classy. Well, go ahead. Wondering what?
Because, Ricky, this is your second time the way you grabbed her hand and said, let me do it again when you touched her hand. People were like wondering what
No, you know, Tamron and I are like, we friends. We like brothers and sisters. Everybody, we got that whole Dallas, Texas connection. And Tamron is like my sister. And the reason I kept touching her because I was just so proud that I was there for a happy occasion. Because when I went on her show the first time, she cried the whole time.
Yeah.
And it was just a blessing that now we can come on the show and talk about God's grace and His mercy and how good God is. And the sun was shining and we have something exciting and happy to talk about. Because the last time Tamron literally cried the entire segment and I was just excited for her more than I was myself. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. And you looked halfway decent, too. Like that suit was nice.
I went and put on my one of the pastor. Shout out to Pastor Haynes for letting me borrow one of them suits. That was my Men's Day suit right there.
Yes, it sure was. I was like, okay, let me check this out, honey.
And the boots.
The boots.
Okay.
Yeah, those shoes were made for walking.
Yes, sir.
And that's what you did. So
that suit was so sharp, I didn't even need no pocket square, Rita. Come on now, praise him.
No pocket square, G. I'm like, all right, then. I say maybe some of the other guys on your show should take notes. But anyway, that was beautiful. It was a good thing. Moving on.
Slow down, Chief.
On the birthday person especially.
Our first guest, award-winning comedian, actor, and radio host Rickey Smiley. Well, Rickey has found himself in one of the most interesting love stories I've heard in a long time. And it is safe to say it was one that he was not expecting. The last time Rickey was on our show, that was in 2023, and he was talking for the first time publicly outside of his own radio show about the heartbreaking loss of his son Brandon at the young age of 32. Since then, Rickey has learned Brandon and his son Malik are not his only biological children. In a stunning turn of events, just as the 1-year anniversary of Brandon's passing was approaching, Rickey learned that he is the father of twin girls who are 6 years old. He said it renewed his joy, and today Rickey is sharing the lessons that he learned and this new perspective that he gained from what he calls an unexpected miracle. In a daytime exclusive, please welcome comedian, radio host, father, and friend of our show, the Rickey Smiley. Rickey, come on out. I love you too. Listen, Rickey's in the house. Well, first of all,
What's up, y'all? The last time I was here, you was sitting here. I had to grab your hand and hold your hand because you was crying the whole time.
Yes.
And just God is so good to be able to sit here today and talk about something happy and joyful.
Yes.
And I just appreciate your heart, and I never forgot that.
Oh, well, listen,
God
I
is so good.
Indeed.
Yes.
All the time. Let me
Yes.
tell you, I appreciate how you ran out and you have twins that are 6 years old. Because I expected those twins to age you by now. 6-year-olds.
They're
Wow.
so much fun.
So much fun.
So much fun, Tamron. We wrestling. We on the floor. We have our little fights up in the bedroom. They love to have the pillow fight. They love the wrestling and the throwing on the bed and tearing up the whole room.
And you're just sitting there going, what happened?
My God.
What happened?
What happened?
You know, you talk about the last time we saw each other, you were opening up, your book was out, and you were really showing people how you grieve.
Yeah.
You talked about in the book using humor and all of these weapons to try to get us through the next day.
Yeah.
Faith gets us through the next day.
Sure.
Family, which you talked about, gets us through the next day. The discovery of Allison and Alyssa. I have to go through the timeline here, as I'm sure you did.
Right.
Made headlines. You were on Smitty and D podcast.
Yes.
And you talked about the first time I saw sun again during the dark hour, that the sun came back out when these two angels came into your life.
Oh, yeah.
This is fascinating. You knew them. They've been around you.
Been around. Yes. They have an older sister whose dad was killed on a motorcycle accident that I was mentoring, that I was raising with my kids. She would go on vacations with us because my ex and I were friends. You know, we didn't have an ugly breakup or nothing. Here's a kid that didn't have a father, and we were friends. And
So you stayed friendly as exes,
absolutely.
which is so interesting.
And we were already co-parenting because the 16-year-old Aaliyah, she's probably going to be the valedictorian. She's graduating high school a couple years. Yeah.
So which is so interesting, because I said to the team, you know, you discovered through DNA that they are your daughters.
Yes.
But was there ever a point where you looked over? Because you're smart. You are
Right.
whip smart. You have survived in the radio business.
Right.
Did you ever look like, timing-wise, I remember that time.
Yeah.
And they are awfully cute. Did you ever go to her before and say, do you think?
Nah, I didn't.
Never.
Because they have these like light brown eyes. And I only had 2 boys. My youngest son is 23 years old.
Yeah.
You know.
So you thought, no way.
Yeah.
Never crossed your mind.
Never crossed my mind.
That is
I was just being a nice guy. You know, being in.
That's you.
Oh. Yeah.
The resemblance is uncanny. Ricky's like, okay, Tamron, this is not Maury. Well, I love it because, you know, as we talked about, when something is meant to be revealed, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Brandon had passed away.
He did, yeah.
And you were dealing with that grief. January 2023.
Right.
March 2023, you came on my show. January 2024 is when you learned that you were the father of the twins on the 1-year anniversary of Brandon's passing.
Yeah. And that's when I actually felt Brandon's death, because the only difference between when he passed and the 1-year anniversary, I did not have a casket and flowers and condolences, right? Because when Brandon died, I'm trying to comfort my other kids, comfort my mother, make sure Brandon, mother and father, bonus father, was straight, and just trying to do all of that. So I didn't get the feel. Well, when January came, I actually felt, and I was like in Florida by myself. I was in therapy 3 times a week, and I was sad. I was in a low, that was the lowest I ever felt in my entire life.
So you get the call.
I get the call. I'm talking about the world was coming down on me. I was being dragged on the internet because of a famous interview, you know, you would have thought that I had did something wrong. And
So you were at this low point.
I got that phone call. I remember the tile on the floor I was standing in. And I always, whenever I go to my apartment, I always look at that tile. I just remember, Tamron, that was the first time the sun came back to its original color. Right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something. When Brandon died on a Sunday, the funeral was that Saturday. That Wednesday, I had Brandon clothes in the car to take to the funeral home. I said, God, I'm gonna trust you. I'm gonna go down to the Salvation Army and I'm gonna serve the homeless today.
Wow.
I served the homeless at the Salvation Army with my son clothes in the car to take to the funeral home. I said, God, I trust you because I know that you're gonna give me peace that surpasses all understanding.
Wow.
And I have no idea what's gonna happen, but I'm gonna serve you because I wanna show you that regardless of my circumstances, I'm a faithful servant. I served all those homeless people that day, went down there to the funeral home, had to, get everything straight for his arrangements or whatever. And I knew something was coming, but I just didn't know. I knew that God was gonna bless me, but I didn't know in what form.
Wow.
And I remember Pastor Haynes, my pastor in Dallas. You know Pastor
Freddie Haynes, of course, legend.
We got our Dallas connection. Friendship West Missionary Baptist
He's one of the
Church.
most brilliant and inspiring people I've ever met in my life.
He said, God will give you double for your trouble.
And Rickey got double. We're going to see what life is like for Rickey, how it all changed in the blink, it might say, of an eye. We'll be right back. Wait until you see the video.
Here you go.
Welcome back. We're with award-winning radio host Rickey Smiley, opening up about the life-changing, no ordinary love story that he is experiencing after learning that he's the biological father of twin daughters, now 6 years old. Where were y'all going there?
We were going to Disney.
Disney.
Shout out to Disney World Dreamers Academy.
Yeah.
For having us. Yeah, we had a great time.
So what was it like seeing the world through their eyes now? These little ones on the plane.
Oh, the whole thing with the double strollers running through the airport. I had Capri Sun, I had crackers, I had the cheese nips, I had everything in the little Ziploc bags. Oh, I'm good. I'm good. I brushed that hair and pulled that little hair up in a bun and smoothed that thing over. You gotta have some pink oil moisturizer.
There you are. This was, a huge change in your life because you had boys.
Yeah.
Now your youngest is
23 years old
23.
in grad school at Alabama State University in Brandon. So those are the only two biological kids, that I knew about. Now it's girls.
It's girl time.
Yeah.
You're gonna be getting your nails painted soon. They're gonna
they like to get all the different colors.
Yeah. This is a beautiful portrait
my
here.
beautiful granddaughter Denver and my grandson Grayson, and those are Malik, Aaron, and De-Essence.
Oh my God! So going back to the reunion though, because these pictures are beautiful, but it took a moment to figure your footing out.
Right.
You learned that you had the girls. I know that you said initially you thought, okay, I'm going to show it with balloons and gifts, and this is how we'll bond. And you learned something from that.
Yeah, it just took time because they had to, they had to get comfortable.
Because your instinct is, I'm going to bring them all of these things.
I sat outside of their house the first day. I was going to go a day early before their birthday, and I couldn't go in. I got butterflies in my stomach, so I bagged out and I left. So I had to get my nerves together. I said, I just want to make sure. And then the next day, I had sent the edible arrangement, the flowers, the cake, balloons, everything. And I heard kids laughing on the inside. I was on the porch, like, afraid to ring the doorbell. I was like, God, like, wow.
That's so interesting because you knew them and they knew you, but now they're going from Mr. Rickey Smiley to Dad.
Dad. And it was like off the bat, they immediately called me Daddy. Off the bat.
What was that like when you first heard them say Dad?
I was used to it because my other granddaughter, Denver, called me daddy,
But
too.
they had never called you.
They had never called me
When
daddy.
they called you daddy.
Right. It made my heart warm. It just, you know, it's like the blood start back running through my veins again. Because grief, you know, grief take gas out of the tank.
Of course.
And this stuff is like put gas back in the tank and just kind of give you something to go on.
You also said that, you know, you didn't want to overwhelm them with gifts because, again, that urge is to go in and, Dad, and you said you had to pull back because you didn't want them to mistake the gifts as love language.
Right, I didn't want to turn into Santa Claus.
Because you wanted them to see you and not the things.
But you know what they love? You know what they love? The meals.
They love you cooking?
They love, I make sure I have a hot skillet of cornbread coming out of the oven by the time they walk in the door. You know, we live in Alabama, so it's cube steak and gravy. I did a chicken pot pie yesterday, and I want my kids to come in the house from school smelling hot food. We don't eat out. I'm cooking every day, cabbage, macaroni and cheese, turkey wings. And I did a seafood broth.
Okay, wait a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Can we do a DNA test to see if I'm your daughter?
Right. Yeah, I love to cook. Anybody follow me and watch my video, I have a lot of cooking videos, so I cook. So yeah, we sit there and we eat. Right. Their favorite food is pinto beans and cornbread. Yeah.
I love it. So you've got the hot skillet of cornbread and pinto. This is amazing.
Coming out the oven.
But because this is all new, you'd never done girl hair before. I saw on your social media, you were tackling their hair. I think we have the video. Let's play it.
You got to fluff it out. I got to fluff that thing out. Hot. Oh, there it is. There it is. Ponytail, ponytail, ponytail. Ponytail, ponytail, ponytail. You like it?
Daddy, put it in the back some.
Put it in the back some more?
Yeah.
Okay, don't worry about it.
Oh, they're so funny.
You were funny.
Yeah. Yeah, because they were so excited. And one of them was like, "You got this, Daddy." I said, "Let's go."
Let's go.
Yeah, because they have a lot of hair.
And they're beautiful hair. So their personality, you said that they are, you call them mini lifesavers.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. I get teary-eyed when I talk about that part. I really feel like they saved my life because I can't tell you how many nights I laid in the bed and I literally did not want to wake up, and I didn't care if God took me in my sleep. That's how bad I felt. I was real close to my son, Brand. You don't just lose the 32-year-old, you lose the 7-year-old Brandon. You understand? The one that actually slept in the bed with you when it was thundering and lightning over there sucking his thumb. The only difference between them and Brandon stayed in one spot in the bed. They synchronized sleep. So they every night about midnight, I put them to bed. Midnight, I feel two people climbing over me. So they come out of their room, and they climb over, they get in the bed, and
We're in the same stage. My son, around 3 a.m., stealthily walks in. But I'll tell you what I do. I have a cot. I know my mom says this is so cruel. I bought a cot on Amazon. I put a little soft mattress on top of the cot, and I'm like, you can go in your room or you can go in the cot. Because I couldn't keep the foot in my face. I was like, dude, we got a choice. Coming up more with Rickey Smiley and how his entire family has embraced this next beautiful chapter. After the break.
God moved in mysterious ways, and I just count it all joy. Thank y'all so much. And more videos to come, more pictures to come. It's brought me a lot of joy. I hope it brought some joy to your life. But if we get nothing else out of this message, that God will give you double for your trouble. It has been nothing but a blessing. So we good over here. God is just absolutely amazing. All right, y'all, have a blessed day. Peace.
Today we're talking about no ordinary love stories. That was Rickey Smiley. Talking about the joyful discovery of his 2 twin girls. You know, it's so interesting. I know you took time to bond with the girls before you introduced them to your extended family.
Yeah, for about a month and a half. It was just me and them. My mom didn't know. Nobody in the family knew.
You can keep a secret, can't you?
Oh yeah. None of my other kids knew. Nobody. I just needed to bond. So I had.
Because what I want the audience to know, when you say your other kids, you have taken in other relatives and nurtured, which has been a part of your journey. That you had your 2 biological sons, but you have had other relatives and extended family members who consider you father, that you've raised and been a father figure to them.
About 8 or 9. About 8 or 9 kids. A lot of them did not have a father. Raised them, and most of them have graduated college.
Wow.
I have a whole wall of degrees.
Whole wall of
degrees. And my daughter graduated from Baylor, and she's a Sora.
Oh, she's an AKA.
She's an AKA.
So listen, all the kids pretty much graduate from college. It's those pinto beans and cornbread. That's the secret. I'm telling you now, when you have a kid, pinto beans and cornbread get you through college. And that will save money so you can pay for college, because that's a cheap meal. Do you get nervous still doing stand-up?
Oh,
you don't?
I'm funnier now than I ever been. You know why? You know why? Because when you turn 50, you don't care anymore.
50?
I'm 50.
You look good.
I'm 56.
You're 56, so after the, because we always talk about age with women.
Yeah.
So for men, that does, so after, because once I turned 50, I was like, you can't tell me nothing. I don't care. So once you turned 50, you felt released and freedom?
I can do stand-up comedy off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I don't have to, like, my timing, my just being older and not trying to do the joke.
Yeah.
I'm telling the story.
Story.
It's a different, on Def Jam, we was telling jokes.
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah.
Now you're telling the story. You're walking them through
Wow.
your who you are, and it's funny.
In your book, Sideshow, you talk about living with loss and moving forward with faith. In the book, you write, comedy is always going to be where I land in this sideshow called life. I'm determined to keep laughing more than anything else. That's how I'm healing. That's how I'm helping others heal.
Sometimes God have to use you.
Yeah.
Sometimes some have to die so others can live. This book have helped so many people through their grief process.
Particularly people who have children dealing with substance abuse, because Brandon's overdose was shocking. And there's so many families who are hiding in shame.
Right.
And that is a part of releasing.
Sure.
Understanding it's not your fault. It's not many times their fault. This is a disease, and it affects so many people.
Absolutely. And it's helping a lot of people, even if they lost their kids through gun violence.
Whatever.
You know, it gives you perspective, because I met a couple in New Orleans whose 2-year-old son died. He drowned. My son was 32. So what God does sometimes give you a perspective.
Yes.
Because as where your situation is bad, it could have been worse, because these people didn't get to see their kids get on the school bus. So right when you start getting ready to cry and have your moment, sometimes God say, hey, remember the couple in New Orleans at the book signing?
Yeah.
So you'll grieve a little bit, but you'll pull it together.
Pull it together.
For them.
Wow.
Because remember, no matter what your situation is, somebody else is always worse.
Yeah.
And that gives you a
perspective.
Absolutely.
Your life is quite a story. As I said, this whole hour is called No Ordinary Love Story.
Yes.
This is No Ordinary Love Story, and I'm so happy to see it for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I love it. I love it. All right, listen. Check your local listings to hear Rickey on his iconic radio show, Rickey's Smiley Morning Show. We'll look out for the Hulu special. Follow him on Rickey Smiley Official, where you can get hair tips on how to do your daughter's hair. And that's not all, Tam Fam. Rickey's book, Sideshow, is available wherever you buy your books. Go out and get it. And guess what? My audience, you're going home with a copy of Rickey's brilliantly written and loving book. We'll be right back. Are y'all ready for the show? Join the Tamron Hall Show audience. Go to Tamron